Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Sadasri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Sadasri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kodi Vaishnav Vrinde Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinde Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Dasatani. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
On behalf of ISKCON Scarborough, I would like to welcome each one of you to our Friday evening program. Today we'll be reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 36. In your yellow Bhagavad Gita, the page number is 223. Abhichedasi pavebhya.
Abhichedasi papebhya.
Abhichedasi pavebhya.
Abhichedasi papebhya.
Sarvebhya pavakrittama.
Sarvebhya papakrittama.
Sarvebhya pavakrittama.
Sarvebhya papakrittama.
Sarvam jnana plavenaiva.
Sarvam jnanam pravinaiva.
Sarvam jnana plavenaiva.
Sarvam jnanam pravinaiva.
Vrijinam santarishyasi.
Vijinam santarishyasi.
Vrijinam santarishyasi.
Vijinam santarishyasi.
Please repeat loudly so you will get the verse very easily. We again reading from Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verse 36 page 223. Abhichedasi pavebhya.
Abhichedasi papebhya.
Sarvebhya pavakrittama.
Sarvebhya papakrittama.
Sarvam jnana plavenaiva.
Sarvam jnanam pravinaiva.
Vrijinam santarishyasi.
Vijinam santarishyasi.
Once more, I'm going to read the whole verse and you can wait and then repeat after me. Abhichedasi pavebhya sarvebhya pavakrittama sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. Abhichedasi pavebhya sarvebhya pavakrittama sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. Any Prabhus can repeat this?
Abhichedasi papebhya.
Abhichedasi pavebhya
Sarvabhya papakrittama.
sarvebhya pavakrittama
Sarvajnana plavenaiva.
sarvam jnana plavenaiva
Vijinam santarishyasti.
vrijinam santarishyasi. Anyone else?
Abhichedasi papebhya.
Abhichedasi pavebhya
Sarvebhya papakrittama.
sarvebhya pavakrittama sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. Abhichedasi pavebhya sarvebhya pavakrittama sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. Any Matajis?
Abhichedasi papebhya
Abhichedasi pavebhya
sarva papabhya
सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि Anyone else? अभिचेतसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि. Word for word meaning? Api, even. Chet, if. Asi, you are. Pabebhya, of sinners. Sarvebhya, of all. Papakrittama, the greatest sinner. Sarvam, all such sinful reactions. Jnana plavena, by the boat of transcendental knowledge. Eva, certainly. Vrijinam, the ocean of miseries. Santarishyasi, you will cross completely. Translation: even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Again, the translation. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Proper understanding of one's constitutional position in relationship to Krishna is so nice that it can at once lift one from the struggle for existence which goes on in the ocean of nescience. This material world is sometimes regarded as an ocean of nescience and sometimes as the blazing forest. In the ocean, however expert a swimmer one may be, the struggle for existence is very severe. If someone comes forward and lifts the struggling swimmer from the ocean, he is the greatest savior. Perfect knowledge received from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the path of liberation. The boat of Krishna consciousness is very simple, but at the same time the most sublime. So this is a wonderful verse and a wonderful purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayyam Tadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sakitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Again, the translation of this wonderful verse which we are reading today from chapter 4 titled Transcendental Knowledge, and the verse that we are reading is number 36. Api chetasi pavebhya sarvebhya papakritama sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. The translation: even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So here, Srila Prabhupada in his purport explains that even if one is the greatest swimmer, if he is dropped into the ocean, in mid-ocean, or even in Lake Ontario, he is going to struggle to swim to safety. It is not possible if he is dropped in the center of Atlantic Ocean. And similarly here, the material world, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that it is considered as ocean of nescience. Nescience means darkness, without knowledge. And sometimes as the blazing forest. In that Guruvashtakam prayer, we read Samsara Dava, that first verse itself, that just as the cloud pours so much of rain and puts this forest fire out, similarly the blazing of material existence is put out by the spiritual master. So when there is a forest fire, we hear so much forest fire that goes on periodically, especially in the West, in California, in Australia, and New South Wales, there was major forest fires. How can we put out the forest fire? We cannot put out how much ever they try, because it keeps increasing more and more and more and more. The dry wood becomes to start getting into the fire, and it's unstoppable. But only time it is put out is when there is huge rain that is falling. So here similarly we are all in this, as Prabhupada is explaining here, we are all in this material world that is sometimes regarded as a blazing forest, and we are in this blazing forest fire. So in this particular verse, we'll try to take the key words and slice and dice this translation so that we understand the meaning of this particular verse well. So first of all, let's start off with the key word here, sinner. Here Lord Krishna says, even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners. So sinner, who's a sinner? A sinner is one who actually does not follow the laws of the Lord, the laws that are put forward by the Lord. So what do we mean by does not follow? First of all, before we go into the laws of the Lord, or rules of the Lord, or rules of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what do we mean by not following the laws? Not following means doing what we are not supposed to do and not doing what we are supposed to do. So either cases, we will be considered to be performing sinful deeds. So if you're going to do something that is not supposed to be done, and doing something that you're supposed to do. What are the examples that we can think of? Doing something that we are not supposed to do. Then we'll find out where these laws of the Lord is written, so that we understand where the laws are. So doing what we are not supposed to do. Clearly it says we cannot kill, we cannot steal, we cannot tell lies. So all these are part of don'ts in God consciousness. And when we do what we are not supposed to do, we are committing sinful deeds. So that is how we make sins. And an example of what we are not doing but it should be done is following the Ekadasi Vrat, following all these wonderful festivals like Janmashtami, Radhashtami, when we don't follow, when we are supposed to fast, when we don't fast. So that is what we are supposed to do but we are not doing. Then again we are committing sinful deeds. So the next part of it is, so not following the laws of the Lord. So where are these laws of the Lord? Where are the requirements? Where are the requirements that we need to follow? Now the requirements are what we find from the literatures, Vedic literature. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. These are all the Vedic literatures that tell us what are the laws that govern mankind. So in Bhagavad Gita, wonderful explanation is given on what needs to be followed, what should not be done. Similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam, through these wonderful pastimes of the Lord, throughout the 12 cantos, we get to know what should be done, what should not be done. So that is briefly about who's a sinner, and what is that a sinner does so that he gets the reaction, and then where are the laws of the Lord documented. So it's all in the Vedic literature. And sinner is one who could have committed the sin few days ago, few weeks ago, earlier in this lifetime, or it could be in many previous lifetimes as well. And the natural consequence of somebody committing the sin is that one will get the sinful reaction. So as simple as that, when we plant a mango seed, after many years, what do we get? A mango tree or an apple tree? So when we plant a mango seed, we will get a mango tree later on, not apple tree or any other tree. Similarly, when we put the finger in a fire, the natural reaction or the consequences, the finger will burn. When we put a finger into the water, the natural reaction is the finger will get wet. When somebody takes poison, the natural reaction he will struggle for existence or he may die. So there is a natural cause and effect, and that is what happens when somebody commits sinful activities. The reactions will be a natural consequence for the action that has been committed. We have free will to do what we have to do. We can take action. The action is within our preview. So we can do what we want to do, but we don't have control on the reaction that it brings. So again, I'm going to repeat. We have free will to do what we want to do. So our action that we are going to do is what we have control over. So we can do the good thing or the bad thing. So that is within our control. But the reaction that comes because of the action that we have taken is not in our control. We cannot control. We cannot stop that from coming. So that is the natural cause and effect of sinful deeds. And also some of you who are, some of the younger generation boys and girls are joining us. One of the common laws, very famous laws that all of us know is Isaac Newton's third law of
Gravity.
motion. Yeah. And that states, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So it's very basic that most of us know. So every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Now this in some way is connected to this. You can briefly say that, yeah, to some extent this explains the cause and effect, but not necessarily. Because cause and effect, the cause can take place now at this moment in time, but the reaction or the effect may not happen for a very long period of time. But in Isaac Newton's third law of motion, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That reaction takes place almost instantaneously at the same time the action is taking place. Example is, when a fish is swimming in the water, it pushes the fins backwards. And because of it pushing the fins backwards, the fish is propelled forwards. So there is equal and opposite reaction. Another example is when the bird is flying, it flaps the wing down and it keeps the bird's body floating upwards. So for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So there is almost instantaneous effect to the cause, but in this law of nature, where there is cause and effect, the cause can take place now, but the effect may not happen for a long period of time. It can happen right away. It can happen after a few years. It can even react after many lifetimes. So it's very complex in nature. We cannot guess when the reaction will come. So somebody can think that nothing is happening to him and they can continue to commit the same mistakes that they are doing, but it's all getting documented, and at the appropriate time it'll react. So that is a little bit about sinner. But if we are in the mindset that we are infinitesimal, if we think we are infinitesimal, and that is what we are, because Lord is infinite, but we are infinitesimal, means very, 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 very small compared to the Lord. If we understand that we are infinitesimal, then the sins that we have committed also is infinitesimal as far as Krishna is concerned, and Krishna will remove them very easily, the reaction. But if we think we are the greatest, if we are intoxicated in this ego, then we are big according to us, so then the reactions to the big sins that we have committed is also huge. So that is a little bit about sinful, the first key word in this, even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners. So in this, the understanding is the person who committed the sinful deeds realizes that he has committed the mistake. So that's the first stage of realization before we understand this particular verse. And then the next key word is when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge. So let's take the word boat to understand further. Now, many of you or all of you have joined us in this transcendental Harinam Sankirtan cruise that we have taken every year for the last 3 or 4 years on Lake Ontario. So when we take this boat, let's stick with this word boat for now. When you take this boat, we are traveling across Lake Ontario for good 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, we are on Lake Ontario. Does anybody know, or did we know, or did we really even care about or think about that there are some deadly fishes? Yes, there are some deadly fishes in Lake Ontario. One of the deadly fishes, it's called northern snakehead, and it's got razor sharp teeth. It is there in Lake Ontario. May not be in that particular area, but there are some deadly fishes in Lake Ontario. And also the waters are very, very chilly, and the average depth of Lake Ontario is 300 feet. So this is probably about 20 feet maybe, or even less. Just imagine this, if this is 20 feet, 300 feet is the average depth of Lake Ontario. Some places is very much more deeper. So we didn't even know that. So even though we are crossing this Lake Ontario, because we are in this boat, we are oblivious to the surroundings. We are unaffected by what is happening below the boat. Is that fair to say? We are totally unaffected by what is going on beneath the boat. There is so much of wind also, there is so much of current in the lake as well, but we were oblivious totally to that. If this is the case of Lake Ontario, think of Atlantic Ocean. Now Atlantic Ocean, there are so many sharks, there are so many piranhas, there's so much of current there, heavy currents there, there is sometimes tsunamis there in the mid-ocean, so it is so dangerous. Now Srila Prabhupada explains that if we are in a nice ship, then we can cross this Atlantic Ocean. Now some of you may have gone on some voyage in this wonderful cruise liners that are available now, especially we talked about the other day too, Royal Caribbean Cruise. Anybody's been on this Royal Caribbean Cruise? Sorry?
And we arrange for ISKCON Scarborough.
ISKCON Scarborough? Sure. So other than Sati Prabhu, has anybody gone on this Royal Caribbean Cruise? Other has gone. So there are many crew members there. So there are about 2,500 crew members. There are many more employees, but then in each ship, there are at least 2,500 crew members. 2,500 crew members are there in each one of those ships to take care of the needs of the passengers. And there are so many restaurants, and there are so many movie theaters, swimming pools, everything is there. And again, the people who are going in this cruise liner, they are totally oblivious to the fact that there are high currents and very high waves, and it's so chilly there and it's so cold down there. They are totally oblivious to the fact because they are well protected. Inside the ship, they are not affected by the external conditions. They are very well protected, and they are able to cross this ocean very easily to wherever they need to go. Similarly, in this particular verse that we are reading, Lord Krishna is instructing us that if you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So this is the analogy that Lord Krishna is giving. If we are onto the boat of this transcendental knowledge, then we'll be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. This word boat, or this analogy of boat, is referred many times in Vedic literatures. This particular verse, of course, we are reading refers to the boat, and also in Srimad Bhagavatam there are many references to boat. One that comes into mind is in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Indra is actually chastising himself. This is during the time when he ignored his spiritual master, and he was cursed, along with him all the other demigods. And at that time he said, if there is a leader who is in ignorance, that means that leader is considered to be a stone boat, and all the followers of him are boarding the stone boat. And what happens when you get onto a stone boat? It sinks. The stone boat sinks. So you can't even get on. Even before you get on, it's sinking. So Lord Indra, King Indra is saying that a leader who's in ignorance is like the stone boat, and all his followers will sink, and in this case they will sink to hellish planets. Similarly, there are wonderful verses. One is in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Here, Lord Krishna is explaining to Uddhava. He's giving an analogy. And in this case, the boat is the human body itself. So Lord Krishna is saying, use your own beautifully constructed body as the boat. Use the spiritual master as the captain of the boat, and the Vedic instructions as the favorable wind. When the wind is blowing nicely, the boat will be taken, and there is a nice captain who will take you to the shore to safety. Nideha madhyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam. Plavam means boat. Plavam sukalpam guru karnadaram mayanukulena nabhasvateritam puman bhavabdim nattaretsa atmaha. So this is a wonderful verse. And also there is this very famous verse that Srila Prabhupada often quoted from the 10th canto, Samashitaye Padapallava Plavam. Again the word Plavam is there. So here Lord Brahma is praying to Lord Krishna that if Samashitaye Padapallava Plavam Mahat Padam Punya Yaso Murari. So if one has taken to the boat of the lotus feet of Murari, who is a killer of Mura demon, then the ocean of material existence becomes as small as in the calf's hoof print. So very easily we can cross. And also there is a wonderful verse in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the teachings of the 4 Kumaras to Maharaj Prithu, King Prithu. Krichro Mahaniva Bhavarnavam Aplavesam Sadvakra Nakram Asukena Titirsanti Tatvam Harer Bhagavato Bhajaniya Mangrim Kritvo Dupam. Again the word Dupam. Vyasanam Uttara Dustararnam. So here it is also said the material existence or ocean of nescience is infested with many sharks. Nakram means sharks. Satvakra means 6 senses. So the 6 senses are considered to be like sharks. So it's infested with sharks. But if you take on to the lotus feet of the Lord, you can easily cross over this ocean of material existence. So again, this verse that we are reading, even if you are considered to be the most sinful of sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge. So, a little bit about sinners. We spent some time on understanding who's a sinner, why is he called a sinner, what is that he will have to do for him to be called a sinner, and when should he have committed those sinful deeds. Should it be yesterday, previous life? So we heard that as well. And a little bit about the boat, the word boat that is referred here. And the next part of this particular verse is transcendental knowledge. So Lord Krishna says, if you get onto the boat of transcendental knowledge, and then even if you are the most sinful of all sinners, you will be able to cross over this ocean of miseries. So what is transcendental knowledge? So transcendental means spiritual. It's not material, it's spiritual. So that is transcendental. So transcendental knowledge means we already rule out not PhD. When you study for PhD, that knowledge is not transcendental knowledge. When you become a great doctor or a lawyer, does not mean that you've got transcendental knowledge. That is all material knowledge. So here what is referred to is boat of transcendental knowledge. And where do we get this transcendental knowledge? Is from the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. And what are some of the transcendental knowledge? First thing is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the first and foremost transcendental knowledge that we get after being in Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada teaches us that the first and foremost knowledge that we should have is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what about us? We are Jivere Swarupe Aya Krishnere Nityadas. We are, this is our constitutional position. Our constitutional position is to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Jivere Swarupe Aya Krishnere Nityadas. And as we heard earlier, we are infinitesimal, whereas Supreme Personality of Godhead is infinite. So these are all the transcendental knowledge. And what else? Padam padam yat vipadam natesam. Every step in this material world there is danger. We just heard about this boat of transcendental knowledge. So this spiritual boat, it is indestructible. But that is not the case with the material boat. We go on board, Harinam Sankirtan cruise. We travel on some other cruise liners like, some of us have gone on that. But material ships or boats are fallible. It is made by human being. That means it's fallible. It can break down. What happened to the ship in the year 1912? The famous or infamous, famous ship. Let's give it famous. So famous ship, Titanic. Titanic means in Greek means gigantic. That's the name of the ship. There were 900 crew members. We're talking about in 1912. More than 100 years ago, this ship had 900 crew members, and there were a total of 2,224 passengers, including the crew members in the ship. Fortunately, the ship was not full because there was some cold strike at that time. If you read the history of that, there was cold strike. So the ship was not entirely full. So here there were more than 2,200 passengers on the ship, and it's supposed to be indestructible ship. And it left Southampton docks, which is in United Kingdom, because this is a British cruise liner. It left Southampton dock, coming to New York, and in the North Atlantic Sea, what happened? Atlantic Ocean. It hit an iceberg on the maiden voyage. It hit the iceberg and it went down. So 1,500 people died in this. So material boats or material ships is not indestructible, but this transcendental boat that Lord Krishna is talking about is permanent, is indestructible. But we may jump off the boat because of our own problem, right? We may jump off the boat, but the boat is transcendental. It's eternally taking everybody towards Vaikuntha. But we may jump off the boat because of our own error. So what we need to do is with confidence. We have to be confident and cautious. Confident is that faith that we have on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And cautious because anytime because of our own error, we may jump off. So we get on to this boat. And then this transcendental knowledge, so one is of course, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are Jivere Swarupaya Krishna Nityadas. There is Padam Padam Yat Vipadam Natesam. There is danger at every step. We have seen that in our life. Everybody, we see that on a daily basis. There is danger at every step. Whether at work, whether it is at home, there is always danger. Whether we are on the road in the car, there is danger. And then this is Dukkhalayam Asasvatam. These are all the knowledge that we get from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We are in this temporary abode where there is a lot of miseries. Dukkhalayam Asasvatam. And we also get to know knowledge is that when we are in the association of devotees, we are on our path to go back home, back to God and honor the prasad. So much knowledge that we get. So that is the boat of transcendental knowledge. So knowledge means vidya, and opposite to that is ignorance, avidya. Avidya means darkness. It's also referred to as like this. Ignorance is referred to as darkness as well. And what are the symptoms of ignorance? Symptoms of ignorance are lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, and illusion. All of us do have, to some degree, each one of them. So when we chant the holy names of the Lord, all this lust and anger and greed and envy and pride and illusion will go away. And when we are in this, when we are in this darkness, when we have this avidya, then our acharyas tell us that we are in this diseased condition. When we are dis-ease, Ease means it's not nothing bad. Dis-ease means we are not at ease. So when we are in this diseased condition, because this lust and anger and greed and all these things have covered our mind and covered our heart, so we are in this disease condition, then we go to the doctor. And what does the doctor do? The doctor prescribes some medicines. Okay, these are the things that you should do, and these are the things that you should not do. And what are the things that we should do when we are in this disease condition, in this transcendental knowledge? When we are not in this transcendental knowledge, what we are supposed to do? Do's: chant the holy names of the Lord, honor prasadam, associate with devotees, perform your sacrifice to the Lord. So all these are do's and don'ts. The 4 pillars of sin: no intoxication, and all that is do's and don'ts. So when we follow that, then this avidya, or the darkness or the ignorance, is removed, and then there is no more darkness. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita we read, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Ayandakara Yan Krishna Tahanai. Krishna is considered to be sunshine, and Maya is considered to be darkness. So what happens when there is sunshine? When sun is rising, what happens to the darkness? There's no place for darkness. And also we prayed, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And what does it mean? I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. And also the famous Chatur Sloki 10.8 to 10.11 in Bhagavad Gita. Tesam evanu kampartam aham ajnana jamtamaha nasayam atma bhavasto jnana deepena basvata. So I open the darkness of ignorance with the torchlight of knowledge. So that is a little bit about transcendental knowledge. So, and we'll be able to cross over this ocean of miseries. What is misery? Misery means troubles, difficulties, problems, all that can be grouped under this word of miseries. So here Krishna says, if you are in this boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over this ocean of miseries. And all of us have miseries in different magnitude. It's all relative. Somebody's misery, other person's misery. But all of us do have misery. So Krishna clearly says, you can easily cross over this ocean of misery that we are all undergoing if you are situated in this boat of transcendental knowledge. So what are the miseries that all of us have gone through or continuing to go through? Birth is a misery, because we read from the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that birth is not very joyful. We forget that, but in it's wonderful details are given in the 3rd canto by Kapila, Lord Kapila, as to what we struggled when we are in the womb of the mother. How we are in this U-shaped form, and all these worms are biting us, and when the mother eats pungent food, how much it's causing concern for this baby in the stomach. So there's so much of details that are described in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which we forget. So birth is definitely a misery. Death, it is definitely a misery as well, because in Garuda Purana it is said birth is like how many scorpions stinging at the same time? Something like 40,000 scorpions biting at the same time. So it is not for devotees, but this is miserable. So definitely death is misery. Old age, how many of you think that old age is not miserable? Arthritis problem, diabetes, so many problems, hair getting grey, can't hear properly. So old age, disease. So we talked about some of the diseases in this old age as well. They go hand in hand together. So these are all miseries. And also clearly in our Vedic literature it says the threefold miseries. Specifically the threefold miseries are Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika means miseries caused by body and mind. Adhibhautika, miseries caused by other living entities. And Adhideivika, miseries caused by natural calamities. So miseries caused by body and mind. We already talked about all this birth and death and old age and disease. Those are all caused by body and mind as well. We are always under stress, so much stress that is from the mind. It could be about our bodily condition, it could be about our uncertain job, about our daughter going to college and she's not here. So much uncertainty is there, so much of stress is there. So misery is caused by body, our own body, and our own mind. You can't avoid that. We will have miserable condition. Misery is caused by other living entities. For some of you who may watch this Judge Judy. Anybody watch Judge Judy? When you watch Judge Judy, you go, every time you see, not that I watch it, but I've heard that when you see Judge Judy, what are the cases? Oh, my neighbor's dog bit my leg, or my tenant did not pay the rent properly, they broke the roof of the house. Always misery is caused by other living entities. It could be dog, it could be the neighbor, it could be in your school, other boys hitting other boys, so it's never ending. All of us will have to go through it. And or the neighbor putting loud music, misery is caused by other living entities. Or other country coming for a war, or terrorists attacking us. All these are part of miseries caused by other living entities. Or even virus. When we get flu and things like that, other living entities are causing us miserable condition. And miseries caused by, the last one is Adi Devika miseries, or miseries caused by natural calamities. Actually tonight it's going to be very cold. So officially we will start feeling really cold from tonight. And we can't help it, whether we like it or not, it's going to be biting cold starting now, especially in December, January, we can't avoid that. And come summer, July, August is going to be hot, plus 40 degrees close to it. So these are all the painful conditions that we have to go through. Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika, so all these miseries will follow. So here Krishna says, if you are situated in the boat of transcendent knowledge, even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, you can cross over this ocean of miseries very, very easily. Now, to illustrate this wonderful point, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the 5th verse of Sikshamrita, what is the verse? Anybody remembers? Ainanda tanuja kinkaram paditam mam vishame bhavambadu. I Nanda Tanuja. Oh my Lord, I Nanda Tanuja means Lord Krishna. I Nanda Tanuja. Kinkaram. What is the meaning of Kinkaram? Servant. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lord Krishna himself is praying, I am your eternal servant, but somehow or other I have fallen into this ocean of nescience. I Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram. Paditam. Paditam means fallen. Remember Padita Pavana Avatar. Padita means fallen. So, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Padita Mam, Vishame means very, very dangerous or deadly. Bhavambadu means ocean of nescience. So here, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself prays, and that is how we should be praying. We are also fallen into this ocean of miseries. Please pick me up and place me as one of the atoms in your lotus feet. So that is with regard to ocean of miseries as well. There is a wonderful story actually. There's a wonderful pastime in Naradiya Puran which exactly justifies or validates this wonderful verse in Bhagavad Gita, but it's an extreme case. So with your kind permission, I would like to narrate this wonderful pastime. This is from Naradiya Puran, and there was a hunter. There was a deadly hunter by the name of Gulika. Anybody's heard this pastime? So there was a deadly hunter. When we hear deadly hunter means he's the most sinful of all sinners. So we are reading that verse, sinful of all sinners. So this hunter, he not only kills animals, he kills human beings, he abducts other people's wives, he takes other people's wealth by force. And it is said in Naradiya Puran that even millions of years will not be enough for somebody to document all his sinful deeds. So many sinful deeds that this Gulika had performed. And this Gulika, once goes, he decides, I'm getting all this, I'm able to rob all these people and get all this money, I'm able to get other people's wife, whatever I want I'm able to get. But I'm still not happy, I want big riches. And by the way, in which yuga did this happen? It could be typical in Kali Yuga, but this took place in Satya Yuga, which is the golden age. So it does not mean in Satya Yuga everything was perfect, because we also hear the pastime or the story of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, all of them were in Satya Yuga too. So here, Gulika is in Satya Yuga, and he is plundering everybody, and he decides, let me go to Sauvira, the capital of Sauvira. Sauvira in this Jayadratha, there is a well-known person in Mahabharata that we read, Jayadratha. Jayadratha at some point ruled this Sauvira, and also Rahugana, King Rahugana also ruled this Sauvira. And he decides to go to the capital of Sauvira because it's supposed to be like heavenly kingdom. So here Gulika goes to this capital, and this resembled Indraloka. According to Narada Puran, the Sauvira resembled Indraloka, and all these women are so beautiful, wonderfully dressed with all these gold ornaments, and the lakes and the forests are so beautiful. And in the middle of one of the parks, there is a beautiful Vishnu temple. And in the Vishnu temple, the dome was made of gold. And he decides he's going to go inside the temple, Gulika, and he's going to plunder all the riches from this temple. This again in Satya Yuga, not in Kali Yuga. So he goes inside the temple, Vishnu Mandir, and then there is Uttanka. This is a priest. Uttanka is supposed to be very pure, very knowledgeable in Vedic literature. And Uttanka is taking care of Lord Vishnu. And now Gulika sees Uttanka as he's a priest, but he's the one who is preventing him from robbing the temple. So what he does, he takes a sword, catches his hair, puts his left leg on his chest, and he's about to kill him. And at that time, this pure Uttanka starts speaking, and he gives wonderful transcendental knowledge. So what we are reading today, if you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So here, if you can imagine, in Satya Yuga, inside the Vishnu temple, he's ready to kill the priest in the Vishnu temple by holding his hair. I'm assuming it's the hair of the Shika. So he's holding his hair, and he's put his left leg on his chest, and he's about to kill, and he starts speaking. Uttanka. And he says, good men with calm minds will see good in others. So here, Prabhupada also often taught us that, we have to be a bee and not a fly. What does that mean? A bee will always go through all these garbage, fly all over the garbage, but he'll go and suck the honey. He'll look for good things amongst the bad things. But what does the fly do? All the beautiful flowers and everything else will be there. Miss World will be there, but if she's got a cut here and pus is there, he'll go to the pus. All the dirty things, the fly will go. So if there is a lot of sweets and garbage, the first preference for the fly is garbage, not the sweets. If there's no garbage, he will come to the sweets as well. So Prabhupada has taught us that, be a bee and not a fly. So here he's explaining that a very good man with calm mind will see good in all conditions. And then he goes on to say that if one is harassed, but if he's very calm, then he's such a fortunate person because Lord Vishnu likes him a lot. So all this, he's about to get killed, and he's instructing, he's teaching him in one way. And he also says that a hunter, a fisherman, and a very, very fault finder. So three of them are always harassing a deer, a fish, and a good person who are just sustaining on grass, on water, and satisfaction. Keeps on going wonderfully. And he says, whatever wealth you plunder, that will not stay with you forever, but your pious and sinful deeds will stay with you. So it's very important. Your money that you steal from others and the wives that you steal from others will not stay with you, but the sinful deeds will stay with you. And your wives and everyone else will enjoy all these things, but they will not take part in the sinful activity, sinful reaction. It's you who has to suffer fully. And he says, anything that is destined to happen will happen. Whatever is not destined to happen will not happen. And if everybody remembers this, he said there will be no anxiety. So wonderful instructions he gives to him. And he says, even a good person, even at the point of death, will only think of good thing about others. And he gives an example, an axe, when the axe is used to cut a sandalwood tree, the sandalwood tree renders the edge of the axe with fragrance. Is that not right? It's a very profound statement. When an axe is used to cut a sandalwood tree, the sandalwood tree is chopped down and dead, but then the tip of the axe that used to cut that gets that fragrance. So wonderful thing. And he says, whatever is destined to happen will happen, whatever is not destined to happen will not happen. So in this, I would like to take a small detour and give another wonderful pastime here. Lord Shiva is in a retreat in the material world, and Lord Vishnu is coming to see Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva leaves Garuda, the carrier, on the entrance. Everybody following me? So Lord Shiva is in a retreat in the material world. Lord Vishnu comes on his carrier Garuda, and Garuda is left at the entrance itself. He's not able to come to see Lord Shiva. And Garuda is waiting outside, happily. And at that time, Garuda is seeing a small bird. There's a small, beautiful bird on the archway. The bird is sitting. Garuda is a bird. This small bird is also a bird. And he's looking at this beautiful bird. And at that time, Yamaraj comes. Yamaraj also comes. He's coming to see Lord Shiva as well. As Yamaraj is coming, he looks at this bird, the small bird, and Garuda is watching Yamaraj watch the small bird. And then Yamaraj, quizzically, he frowned his eyebrows like this, and he went to see Lord Shiva. So already Lord Vishnu is seeing Lord Shiva. Now Yamaraj is also going to see Lord Shiva. And then Garuda saw. Garuda being, got a very soft heart, and he's also seeing this little bird. Anytime Yamaraj sees somebody, that means he's going to go. That's it. The little bird is going to die. So what he decides, before Yamaraj comes back after meeting Lord Shiva, let me save this bird. Because when he's coming back, he's going to take this soul from this body of this bird and he's going to put it in a different body. Let me protect this bird. What he does, Garuda, immediately in his talons, he captures this small bird lovingly, like how a cat carries the kitten, and he takes him thousands of miles away and he puts him near a lake. A small lake is there, beautiful shrub is there. He puts him on the shrub and immediately, instantaneously, he comes and flies back to this entrance and he's staying as though nothing has happened. And Yamaraj finishes his meeting with Lord Shiva and he comes back. And then Garuda offers his obeisances. And then Garuda asks, can I ask you, Yamaraj, why did you frown your eyebrows? Why did you look like that at that small bird? Then Yamaraj said, I was thinking, the time is up for this bird, but according to this bird's destiny, this bird is going to be eaten by a python thousands of miles away next to a lake. And I was thinking, how is this going to happen? But I know it will happen, so that is why So whatever is going to happen will happen. So that is one of the instructions by this Gulika to Uttanka. When he got this transcendental knowledge, what happened to Uttanka? Immediately this fire of lamentation, this fire of agony burned all the sins that he had and instantaneously he died. Right after getting this knowledge, he was feeling so bad that he committed so many offenses, he just died on the spot. And then immediately what Uttanka did, he took the water that washed the lotus feet of the Lord and then he sprinkled on this dead body and then he's saying in a celestial aeroplane, Uttanka is there, he's going to Vaikunta. And then he offers his respectful obeisances. He comes down from the chariot, does 3 circumambulation of Uttanka and he says, because of your transcendental knowledge and because I was inside this Vishnu Mandir, all my sins got eradicated, and because you sprinkled me with this Charanamrit, now I'm going back to Vaikunta. So many lessons to learn from this wonderful. One is the association. He had a wonderful association of Uttanka. Gulika had this wonderful association of Uttanka. Second one is he was in this temple for a long period of time. And also he got this transcendental knowledge, and because of this, the sins that he had committed, this, as we heard in the beginning stages, that the sins that he had committed was actually, they could not even write it for millions of years, so much of sins he had committed. But instantaneously, all the sins got burned by that transcendental knowledge. And what is the verse that we are reading today? Again, this is an extreme example. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Hare Krishna.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami
Krishna Prasada Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prada Avine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasatya Deshathamani
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachadini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasatya Deshathamani
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhattavrinda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhattavrinda
Jaya Gaura Bhattavrinda
Jaya Gaura Bhattavrinda
Jaya Gaura Bhattavrinda
Jaya Gaura Bhattavrinda
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
जय नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रवचिकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीला केसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। फाउंडर आचार्य ISKCON गुरु शीला चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय नमो नित्य लील प्रवेश परमहंस प्रवचिकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीला भक्तिवेदांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। गंगामय की जय, यमुनामय की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोविंदारी की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमय की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। समुद्र धाम की जय। पुरी धाम की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय। प्रहलाद नरसिंह की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय। समवेद भक्तवृंद की जय। गौ सीतानाथ ऑल ग्लोरीस्ट assembly all glorious assembly all glorious assembly all glorious guru gauranga hari all glorious Srila Prabhupada अनंत कोटि वैष्णवंत की जय। गौ सीतानाथ
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, आनंद गौड़ी वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल।